Sinners and Saints, it's TJ here, the MotorSage. My mind's been racing towards warm temperatures and friendly shores. To get ready for spring, I pulled my fishing tackle box out from behind the passenger seat. I found I need some fresh line, a new net, some canned bait, and a few more lures. Now, getting a new net is wishful thinking. It reminds me of the times I took a 47 Chevy to the levee to do the best kinds of fishing. I wanted to do some catfishing, and things didn't quite work out right, so I went to another kind of fishing. Opening my fishing box reminded me of a time long ago when I went fishing for some country relaxation. My spot was perfect. I was prepared, or so it seemed. I'd gotten my lunch and a can of soda at the local store earlier that morning. And a short drive past Carlson's Market took me to the bridge. In one quick turn onto a dirt road, so I'd arrive at the bank of the Allegheny River. After I got out of the Jeep and gathered my tackle, I sat in my blue folding chair next to the bank that loomed over a really slow moving current. After I spent some time casting my fishing line far out into the lightly muddied water, I opened my tuna and onion sub. Perfect. Just perfect, I thought. After taking a bite of the fish sandwich, I relaxed. I wondered how long it would be before the fish would get the idea and take up the bait and hook. It was nice and quiet my lunchtime fishing trip. That is until the messenger showed. He came rumbling down a hill. An old man. He came bumping into the dirt road in a mint Chevy pickup. His bearded face grinned out at me as he drove past just a little bit. He stopped to look back into his spot next to my Jeep. He gunned the engine a little before shutting it down, just enough to let the exhaust rumble on top. I sat there in my black clerics, judging the old guy for his blue jeans and holes in the knees. A dirty white good guys car show t-shirt had laid the foundation for a long sleeve hunter shirt that was over top. After rigging up his fishing pole with a sinker and some crayfish bait he cast way out across the river, then he sat down in a chair about a dozen feet or so downstream. He says, "I hope you don't mind the company." He rested his fishing pole on a wooden Y-shaped stick and opened a small book. "No," I said, simply, "I've come to sit, eat, to fish, and enjoy the weather some." Sounds that came from the woods around us, birds, bugs, and rippling water, seemed like the hum of an old stock block 49 Mercury. I was about to drop right off, and my fishing neighbor cleared up his throat and spoke. He said, "My name's John. I'm reading the Old Testament." "That's good news," I said. "I'm a pastor." That's what he told me. He says, "I figured that your black clothes." He said, "You read scriptures every day then?" I said, "Most often." He said, "No, I mean every day." I thought about this, and I said, "Sometimes I just get too busy." "You aren't too busy now, are you?" That was his question. I thought about it a minute longer. You see, I'd taken the bait, I'd been hooked. "No, I guess not," I replied. It was too late for any excuses. He sat there not saying a word, looking out over the alley. A lesson from Malachi that was scheduled for the next week of worship came to mind because I'd read it. It says, "And he who can endure the day of his coming, and who can stand when he appears." Now, as I sat there in my blue yard chair, I felt the weight from that prophet's words. I was convicted. I'd been refined and I was purified. So I got up and tried to hold on to a bit of dignity as I went to my Jeep. He was expecting me to grab my fishing pole and set the hook, but instead I felt like a night crawler who was caught in the grip of a fish. I squirmed over to my Jeep and reached inside. There it was. After I went back to my blue folding chair and sat down with the Bible, I opened up the pages where my Lord's Prayer bookmark rested. The bookmark had been given to me by a Christian man who I'd met at a car show. I read from the Acts of the Apostles, 13th chapter. "My brothers, you descendants of Abraham's family and others who fear God, to us the message of this salvation has been sent." Yep. The message of Jesus is sent to his disciples who hear, still delivered gently, yet firmly by a man of the word.